Cloak. Probably one of the worst intros I've ever done. Cloak, the new clothing range by huge YouTubers Markiplier and JackSepticeye. The new thing that suddenly came out of nowhere and took a year to prepare. Cloak took a year to prepare, everyone. I can already tell I'm going to get some backlash from this video. Probably going to get a few dislikes or unsubscribers, probably just because I'm back. I'll explain that soon, don't worry. So I need to quickly say before I get into this video that I do respect Markiplier and JackSepticeye both for what they are and for the creators they are and for all the good things they have done on YouTube as a site to their fans. They seem like really down to earth people. Obviously I can't know because I don't know them, but through everything that every other YouTuber says basically when they meet Mark or Jack, they always say that they're some of the most down to earth people and they're really nice people. This isn't attacking them. This doesn't affect how I think, like what I think of them as people or as creators. You can have negative opinions on something that somebody does without actually hating them. I think people don't really think about that a lot of the time when they watch these kind of videos. They might think just because I disagree with something that Markiplier does or that JackSepticeye does or some other YouTuber does, that doesn't mean I don't like them as a content creator. That doesn't mean that I think they are bad people. So I just need to kind of say that outright. I still respect Jack and Mark for what they are and for who they are, but I feel like this needs to be said. So you might be wondering, what on earth is Cloak? So basically, Cloak is this new clothing range that Mark and Jack recently came out with, which they made a video saying it's here. And the clothing range is described by themselves as the clothing brand for you. I'm actually going to get up the site and actually tell you what exactly the site says. The tagline of Cloak's own website is Cloak, hidden in plain sight. It's different because usually when you get a clothing brand, it's going to be Supreme. It's got Supreme labelled all over it. So it's different, you know. Let's just read what it says. This is Cloak. This is our clothing brand. But more importantly, this is your clothing brand. Remember that. It's yours, not ours, yours. Something has been missing from our lives. Clothing for people like us. The apparel options that the fashion industry has given to us are pretty much all the same. And the brand's marketing to us don't really know who we are. That's why we created Cloak, the first high-end apparel brand for our community. We set out to create clothes that fit our lifestyle and our bodies, clothes that are cool and comfortable and ultimately make sense for us, clothes that we actually want. Our goal in building this brand is to give you a voice. We want to create a brand that listens to what you need and gives you what you're missing. Most importantly, we want Cloak to be a brand that you're proud to represent. That is the pounding heart of Cloak. Keep that line in mind, alright? We want Cloak to be a brand that you're proud to represent, okay? Keep that line in mind. Over the years, we've been inspired by YouTube and our communities, and we hope that in return, Cloak will inspire you. So thanks for taking this journey with us, and it's signed Sean McLaughlin, I don't know how to pronounce his name, and Mark. That sounds all good, right? So it sounds all good. So two creators who care about their communities have made a clothing brand that will represent who the community is and who that person in the community is. Sounds good, doesn't it? Let's have a look at the product, shall we? So we've got this, which is pretty simplistic. You can just about see Cloak written on the middle. But like I said, it says hidden in plain sight, so I guess that's not too bad of a thing when you say that you want to represent and you can't really see what you're representing, kind of an issue. I don't know. Anyway, then there's this design, which, you know, I need to make this clear. Design is subjective. So if you like this design, if you like this design, if you like this design, fine. I don't mind. I think some of them are actually pretty nice. I think, as much as I just made a joke about it, the one that says Cloak on it kind of slightly, I think that's a pretty nice design, you know, it's pretty simplistic, I like it, it's a dark style, and I think it's nice. But I'll not be getting it, and I'll not be getting it for a few reasons, but number one, let's have a look at the price, shall we? $80. Yeah, I'm reading that right. And for you British people who are watching it, like moi, I say British and say moi, which is not British. £62. £62 for this. This is approaching Supreme level of prices, and Supreme is ridiculously of a price. Now I would be more fine with this pricing thing if they weren't trying to push their agenda of this is for our community, this is for you, this is for the normal person, because what normal person can spend £80 or £62 on a shirt? Not a lot of people, except of course the Markiplier, JackSepticeye superfans who will try and get all the money they can, because I mean it's one of Jack and Mark's products, so we need to spend 80 quid on this kind of crappy product. No, I have no idea. It could be a really good product in person, but looking at the design and the price when they're trying to push it on as this whole thing, which is for the normal person, it doesn't look great, and it's not something that I would expect Mark or Jack to do let alone to advertise as this huge thing, as if it's such like a new revolutionary product or such a big line that they've released, because it's not. It's just really simplistic, and simplistic is fine, but for these prices it's just kind of ridiculous. For comparison, I'm going to talk about Hollister, which I'm wearing right now. They're not a huge brand name, but they release designs where it's really simplistic. They have shirts where it's just got a little Hollister symbol on the side. You can barely see it, it's very small, but even them, more than half of this price. Hoodies are usually conceived as being more expensive, so when a shirt is extremely simplistic and it's so much money and they're trying to push it on as the normal person, it's just a bit weird. It's a bit morally screwed up, and it's weird because I haven't seen anybody talk about this. I'm sure there have been people talk about this on YouTube. I'm not here going to say I'm the only one who's spoken out about it, because I'm sure some other people have been talking about it, some other smaller YouTubers, some other big YouTubers I haven't seen. But YouTubers who are big in the commentary space and have a big impact, like I'm Alex, Quiet, Jackmate, usually concentrates on these kind of merch things, they no word, which is insane, because if this was somebody like RiceGum, FouseyTube, Zoella, if they did something like this with their own merch line, which was really simplistic and this amount of money to buy, I'm sure there'd be a lot of word about it. I'm sure there'd be a lot of backlash from the YouTube community and maybe from the mainstream as well. But because of how respectable these people are in the community, no one's really speaking out about it. Whether or not it's because they see these people as perfect and they can do no wrong in the community, like, oh, it's Jack, I'm sure he didn't mean it, I love Jack, he's got the green hair every now and again. Or if it's simply because they're scared of getting backlash from their fans, over 20 million fans, is debatable, but I just find it weird. And the fact that people are letting this slide and not really commenting on it is just insane to me. In the video that Mark made announcing the product about, I think it was rather the brand being released, or it was approaching being released, he was wearing one of these Cloak hoodies, and you could barely tell it was branded at all. I know that's what they're going for, but if you're going for something that isn't barely branded, then why is it $80? You can buy shirts that have got barely any branding on at all for like 20 quid, 30 quid, 40 quid at a fucking stretch. Like I said, again, approaching this, I know there's a bit here and some here as well, but that's, quite minimum really. And this was not £62, and it's actually good quality. Now, I don't know how good the quality of these products are, because obviously I've not got one. I'm not going to spend £62 to get one because I'm not made of money. If I was a YouTuber, just now realising that I am a YouTuber. What I mean is, if I was a YouTuber like Jack, like Mark, like Felix, like all these other YouTubers on the site who had enough money to buy it, maybe I would buy it and test it out. But this is not the audience that they're portraying themselves to be going for. They're portraying themselves to be the everyman's product, the community's new brand. All these other clothes brands are too expensive, or they're too high end and all this stuff, and that we know what the community wants. They just want simple, comfortable, well-fitting clothes for £100. Then you have to say, is it worth the money? Because I honestly don't think it is. Even Supreme, as much as I rag on Supreme and think Supreme is some of the most cancerous brands out there, at least some of their shirts have designs on. As crappy as they may be and as overpriced as they may be, at least there's something to it. There's the rarity, there's the actual designs on it. This is no design, it's just text you can barely see, and it's I don't know. I don't understand how people are letting this slide so easily. It's because of who they are. If I remember correctly, RiceGum a while ago released some merch that he said was like this new thing, and it was basically just jeans with holes in, which is not new if you're a teenage girl. And he got ragged on for it because it was not new, and because it was overpriced, and because it's simple and people can just get that anywhere. But at this point, I feel like if Markiplier released some Cloak jeans for probably the same price, no one would bat an eyelid, because it's them, because it's Mark, and because it's Jack, and because they're the good guys of the community. And like I said, they think they have done a lot of good for YouTube. I think that they are, from what a lot of people have said, some of the nicest community members in the website. But at the same time, people aren't perfect. They make mistakes, and they sometimes maybe get money hungry. This might not be completely their decision. Of course, they have to work with a lot of people to run the website, to make the product, but you would think they would have some say in this. If they're trying to portray this as a thing for the normal person, I would have thought they would have pushed a bit more to get it to a cheaper price that actual people can afford, exempt from just the people who've got high-end jobs who, let's be honest, are not the average person. That's about all we have to say on this topic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leaving a like would be much appreciated. If you want to subscribe to the channel as well, I would really appreciate that too. Videos, they happen sometimes. I wanted to just put my points out for this specifically in a video because every now and again there are topics on YouTube which you are really passionate about. For me, it's been the Merc music topic I covered a while ago. This is the most recent one, and also the 24/7 live streams I did a while ago. Every now and again there are just these topics that you are passionate about and you want to make a video about, so that's why I did this. For any of you who stayed, I'm sure a lot of people are going to unsubscribe, which completely fair enough, but if you do stay, thank you very much. Yeah, thanks to everybody who stayed, thanks to everybody who watched this video all the way through. So leave a like, it would be very much appreciated. But thanks for watching, stay with your friends, and goodbye. I'm back at it like a bad habit. I smoke rap, I'm a rap